Hey, what's going on, YouTube? How everybody doing today? The other day I made a video of me cleaning mainly this saddle right here, my roof out. This is my favorite saddle right here. But as I was working on it, I noticed there's some stuff coming loose on it. Like right here, there's supposed to be a nail in there. It pulled out. So I want to fix that. But I only let one person work on my saddles. The only person that I trust with basically anything, especially with whatever, is my dad. And he's good at redoing saddles. He's good at basically redoing anything. He can work on whatever you want. You know, growing up, luckily, we never had to call any kind of plumbers or electricians, mechanics, because he can do it. He can do it all. So this is my dad. He's going to kind of go over a little bit on what he's about to do. It ain't really a big issue right now, but it can turn into something. And he's going to put, I think he's going to replace the nails with some screws or something. And we're going to kind of show you what he does. So this is what we're going to get into.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yep. This is the saddle. This is Jared's roof out. He's had it for about 15 years. We got it about 15 years ago. It's a solid, heavy-duty roper. And over the years, like he said, things do wear out. And we're going to change out a few of the conchos. We're not going to change them. We're going to take them loose, repair them, and put them back on. And back in the old days, whenever the saddle leathers came through the saddle like this, it basically held the whole entire saddle together. So like when you were out on the trail, you didn't have any nails, you didn't have any screws. If you took your saddle leathers loose and removed the conchos, the whole entire saddle would come apart. Of course, this being the saddle skirt, some people now are calling it the saddle housing, which I'm not sure where they got that from. But the horn and the whole entire underneath part of the saddle is all sewed in to the skirt itself. Of course, you've got your jockeys, you've got your rear jockey, then you've got your front jockey, and some people call this the second skirt. You know, the first skirt being here, the second skirt being here, and then the tree itself totally sewed into the first original skirt underneath. When back in the old days, the tree was not sewed in, it was simply held in through the leathers that came through the saddle itself. So it was easily disassembled out on the trail and put back together with a part that might be damaged on the saddle. But in this day and age, as the saddles moved forward, they started putting nails and screws in them, and out on the trail, if they didn't have nails or screws, it was just simply held together by the saddle strings. So on the conchos on this saddle have some screws, some nails, and what we'll do is we'll remove this. We're going to remove this saddle leather. We'll pull it down through the top. And they've been in there a long time, so it's going to take a second or two for me to get this dude out of there. But it will come out.
Like I said, you know, this saddle's been, we rode on this saddle for, I don't know, I've had it about close to 15 years or so, and you know, we haven't
been roped off of and everything else by Jared for a long time now. And as we pull the saddle string through the first loop, we're going to get it pulled plumb out.
the two leather pieces there there's a slit in them, and one of them's inside the other.
We don't want to break it, but if we do, we just have to put a new one in. Once you get it loose, you're down to the concho cover. The concho itself. It's a little leather or little metal fancy design, which you can get all kinds of different designs, but to come down to the actual leather concho is right here. You pull this off like so. Set everything right there where you don't lose anything. In this case, it had a little nail, looks like, in it. We're going to go back with a brass screw. This is the second skirt, or the front jockey that it's going through. Now I'm going down through the second skirt rear jockey. This is the front jockey. This is the rear jockey. Some people call this the second skirt. We want the screw long enough to go through all three pieces of leather, which is just about 1/4 inch thick.
About what size is that screw?
This is a number 8. This is 1.5 inches long. It's a number 8. It is made of brass, so it will resist all sweat, rain, moisture. It will not rust. I'm going to check the saddle tree. We're going directly through the first jockey, second jockey, in through the main skirt, all the way into the saddle tree. I'm into the saddle tree now. It is getting real tight. I'm going to switch screwdrivers to a bigger one so I can really put some. Now, it is screwed plumb through the first skirt.
So you're just making sure it don't go all the way
The first
through.
jockey, the second jockey, and I'm checking the saddle tree now to make sure that it did not go all the way through, and it did not. It calls for 1.5 inches on this particular saddle, so you can imagine how thick this saddle is with your first jockey, your second jockey, your main skirt, and then into the saddle tree. And 1.5 inch screw does not go into or come out of the back side of the tree.
Right.
So this saddle is really, really thick. Now we're going to go back.
You're putting the leather one on.
The leather concho. Back on. Now we're going to put the leather concho back on. Now we're going to install the leather saddle strings. Bottom one. Let's see, did I miss the The bottom one comes up through the top. Now the top is on the bottom.
Because there's little slits in the leather.
There'll be 2 of them, or should be. Some of the cheaper made saddles right here have one slit right there. They have one slit in it. And that's the way it'll be. So what you can do is you can make your own second slit and put it through there and come up through it. But in this case, the second slits are already made in this saddle because this is one heavy duty dude. Just like that. Now when you come around here on a roping saddle, you come across here from concho to concho, just like this, from the center of the concho to the center of the concho should be at least 7 inches to fit a full quarter horse animal. This saddle is right at 7.5 inches. This is the gullet. This is where you measure the gullet size right here. That's where you measure the gullet size. So you can see from there to here, it's about 7 1/4. Your full roping saddle is 7 inches. When you get a saddle that is 6.5 inches down here from concho to concho, it's 6.5 inches. It's made for the thinner type horse, like the Mustang, maybe the Thoroughbred. Something when you're sitting on top of your horse, you look down, there's not much width. It's a tall horse, it's a big horse, but there's not much width to it. On a full-size quarter horse, usually they have a lot wider width when you're sitting on the horse looking down. The horse is going to be wider. That takes the wider gullet in the front. The bars in the saddle are adjusted like this. For a thinner horse, such a Mustang, Thoroughbred, something like that, the bars built into the tree, saddle tree, are going to be bent down. For a full quarter horse saddle, they're going to be bent out because the quarter horse is bigger around. It's just naturally made to be bigger around. So the bars in the saddle will come out in this angle in the tree. This is your tree body that I'm talking about. The bars in the tree. This is for semi-quarter horse, which is not very wide horse. This is for a wide horse, such as a full quarter horse.
Right.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
That's the way it works. I know you know it.
Well, alrighty. Well,
for sure.
This right here looks brand new again, which I already knew it would. I never worry about it. And you're gonna be seeing a lot more of my dad, not just riding and working on saddles and stuff, but he's a very knowledgeable guy. So he'll do a lot of stuff with, fixing things up, redoing different projects, stuff like that. So you'll be seeing him quite a bit. I respect him a lot. I love him. I appreciate him doing this.
I'd like to say one other thing, that we are Crudlow Farms. We are Crudlow Farm Saddles, J. Spence Saddle Company, and Jared does own Crudlow. And we are $1 million saddle sellers on eBay. We got our award from eBay for being a $1 million seller, and we have sold over $1 million worth of saddles on eBay. And we're real proud of that. And Jared's first horse years and years ago was named Crudlow, and so we named the farm after Jared's horse, Crudlow, and now it is Crudlow Farms or J. Spence Saddle Company. And thanks again.
We appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you soon.